You guys awake? All right, let's get some applause if you guys are here. Viva Las Vegas. Happy to have you guys here. I also want to say hello. We've got a couple cameras here. There's a decent amount of folks watching via the live stream back home. So we want to say hi to you guys out there. Hopefully you're not shoveling snow wherever you may happen to be. We're happy you guys are here. So if you've been taking part of anything this morning, you've seen we've had a lot of action up here. I'm almost falling on stage. I don't want to make too much of a fool of myself. But anyway, this is definitely the place to collaborate, to learn. And these aren't just cheesy terms that we're throwing out here. This is the real deal, heavy hitter experts that we're bringing from the industry. We're asking real questions. We're getting into the real deal so that we can all collaborate together. And guys, as you know, technology is changing like crazy. That's why our next topic is so important. It's all about digital marketing, aligning your measurement to drive foot traffic. And this is a topic that we've been talking about on this stage pretty much all day today and yesterday as well. No matter what we're talking about, some type of digital marketing becomes thematic. So we have two incredible experts here that are going to share their knowledge with you guys, and it's really a pleasure to have them here. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce them and get out of the way. If you guys have any questions, save them for the end, and we can maybe, if we have time, we can maybe open up for a Q&A. And don't forget, guys, if you need a place to sit, to hang out, or just to learn, this is always your spot. Feel free to come and hang out with us anytime. I'm Madison Alexander, so let's get this thing going, guys. I want to do our official introduction. We have a couple very, very important guests that are standing here in the wings, so let's get to it. We want to help you guys be on point with your digital marketing, so we have a couple experts. One's from Google, as a matter of fact, and the other one is an incredible GM and VP. And why don't I go ahead and announce them. By the way, it's going to help you learn how to partner with Google to increase your profits, increase your cha-ching, all right? So that's a good thing to have. So why don't I go ahead and introduce them. Let's get it going. First up, we have the head of auto retail, Google. Lisette Gohl is here, as well as Mr. Brian Benstock, who's the VP and GM of Paragon Honda, Paragon Acura in Queens. Give him a round of applause.
Thanks,
Take
Madison.
it away. You're very welcome.
Madison, nice job.
You got it. Thank you.
you.
Take
Hi,
it
everybody.
away.
Wow, this
good-looking
is a different
crowd,
stage,
right?
Huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
great crowd.
Thank you for having us here today. We're thrilled to be here with you to talk about the next evolution of our partnership with Google and you as dealers in driving business and profitability through Google advertising solutions. My name is Lisette Gohl. As Madison mentioned, I'm the head of automotive retail, and I'm joined by Mr. Brian Benstock, Vice President and General Manager of Paragon Honda and Paragon Acura in Queens, New York.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to talk today about the next evolution of a tool that you know and love, the Dealer Guidebook. And many of you have been utilizing the Dealer Guidebook since we debuted it in 2017. And for those of you that have been utilizing it, you've been gracious enough to provide feedback to me around how Google Ad Solutions are furthering your business objectives. But you've also told me that you want to understand further how every dollar you spend with Google is contributing to the bottom line of your dealership.
Let me translate that. The dealers have said, hey, Google, show me the money. Every time I spend money, how am I going to get people into the showroom? How am I going to measure it? If you want us to continue to give you money, show me the money.
And we're here today to show you the money. Brian is also here because he has been a longstanding partner of Google's. And he has...
Oh, fuck. It's crazy.
Maybe we have a hot mic.
Somebody else jumping in. That's great.
Okay.
Cool. Love it.
Okay.
Hey, if they can add to the
That's right. It adds some color and context. Yeah, we love it. So Brian is here today because he's been a longstanding partner of Google's, and he's adopted consumer trends that are occurring in the industry with research moving online.
Let me define longstanding partner. I send them a lot of money and they take it all. That is a partnership.
That is a partnership.
I'm kidding.
And Brian has taken all of the changes to heart and is going to talk about how the evolution of consumer trends and working with Google has helped the bottom line of his dealership.
Okay.
So let's dive right in. So first I want to start with a few truths that have come out in our research over the last 10 years. We have been conducting research with third-party partners such as Ipsos and Compete to understand what consumers are doing online before they reach your dealership and actually buy a car. And these three truths have been long-standing over the last decade and are going to continue to underpin how we go to market together. So the first one is that car shoppers are heavily researching. But the truth is that most of them are finding your dealership online. So they maybe did not necessarily know which dealership they wanted to purchase a car from, but they are finding you through online advertising.
The bottom line is if you want to win in the showroom, you have to win online. Because if you don't win online, they're never going to get to your showroom.
That's right. And the next truth is that they're still shopping over a 3-month period. So over 90 days, they are in market, they are looking for which vehicle they want to buy, and they are researching really heavily around the makes and models that they're looking for. So the truth is, over this 3-month period, they're actually exploring between 4 and 5 different vehicles before they determine what they actually want to purchase.
They're not necessarily searching for Honda Accord. They're not necessarily searching for a Honda SUV. They're searching for SUV.
That's
SUV right. With 3 seats. And that change has really changed the game because a lot of us assume they're coming and they're looking specifically for us, and that's not the case.
That's not the case. And the next truth is that when they arrive at your showroom floor, they're already ready to purchase a vehicle. And most of them are no longer submitting traditional online lead forms. So they're not necessarily willing to give you their name and number anymore before they've walked into your showroom.
When's the last time you filled out a lead form? You know, for years we were chasing lead forms. We had lead forms everywhere, thinking that was a way to capture customers' information. The reason people go to the internet is so they can remain anonymous, so they can walk into the dealership, they can shop between your various departments, they can go into your parts department, they can go into your used car inventory, and they can get out of those departments without you even knowing who they are. So you're actually insulting the customer when you require, in order for them to take the next step, they got to tell you who they are.
That's right. But we still have ways to find these shoppers before they get to your dealership, and that's what we're going to talk about here.
Cool.
Okay, so let's talk about what they're doing in that 3-month time frame before they've ever walked into your showroom and have asked you to buy a vehicle. So 81% of these shoppers are considering multiple brands. So I mentioned already, they're considering between 4 to 5 brands, and that is up from 2 to 3 brands just a few years ago. So as the industry is changing, they're more open-minded as well. And they are considering over 5 dealership websites on average. So they're visiting 5 different dealerships before they've made their decision on which one they want to walk into.
So imagine this, you're a dealer principal. The OEM said, you have to build a $21 million structure in order to represent our brand. You build a $21 million beautiful facility. You've got a great staff. You've got incredible processes in place, but you don't win the game online. They're shopping at 5 other dealerships online, and because your website didn't load fast enough or it wasn't mobile friendly, they rule you out before they ever get to see all the input and all the beauty of your store.
So let's talk about how you've utilized these truths in order to help the customer find your particular store and walk into the dealership.
Sure. In 2018, Paragon Honda sold 10,500 cars. We figured that took about 44,000 store visits. The advertising that we did with Google, we were able to measure the specific impact of that, and we found that we had 18,700 customers that walked into our store in direct response to clicking on a Google ad. And it's interesting, beyond that, we had 42% of that traffic came specifically from YouTube. Now, when we looked at that in 2018, and we looked at that the 42% of the traffic came in from YouTube, we analyzed and we noticed that was only 8% of our ad budget. So can you imagine, 8% of our digital ad budget drove 42% of the store traffic. Knowing this, what would you do if you were a dealer? Well, what we did in 2019 is we shifted budget from someplace that wasn't performing as well to YouTube. And the results we'll show you a little bit later in the presentation were pretty outstanding. We use assets like video. I saw a presentation from Kelly McNerney out at Google, and it talked about Tiger Woods' famous shot at Augusta, where he made that putt, and you had to read about the putt. And he approached the tee, and he chipped the ball, and the ball went, and it hung there in the last second, and it dropped into the cup. And you read it, and it was pretty cool. And then she showed you the video of that shot, and it was so impactful, you said, wait a second. That's cool. And then we realized, why are we putting our advertisements out there as static when we can use video to tell the story? And so now with the dealership...
Hey Google, talk to Paragon Honda. I want to buy a new Accord.
The Accord video will lead the customer directly to the website. Go ahead, forward. When you get to the website, you have to have extensions. And if you read Guidebook 1, you have an extension that's got to take that customer directly to your dealership. And if any way in the process you have a disconnect, you're going to lose that customer. So when the customer clicks for the Honda Accord after seeing the video, that extension's got to take them specifically to your website. But not just to your website. The extension's got to take them directly to the offer that you have. Too many of us, for too long, have directed the customers to the website. And then when they get to the website, they've got to go to the new car department. Then when they get to the new car department, they've got to scroll for the specific car that they're looking for. Elon Musk and Tesla have figured this out. You've got to be one thumb click away from where you want to be. You see the ad, you click on the extension, you get to the offer, and you're able to walk into the dealership, the digital dealership. We think that's a hot setup. You said customers are coming into the showroom. How many of us have sales managers, when the customer leaves, they say, well, the customer's not ready to buy? That happens all the time. They've researched for 60 days before they come into your store. And what do you know about a customer when they come to the dealership? Name 3 things that you know when a customer walks into your store. The time is right. How do you know the time is right? Because they're there. Their trade no longer floats their boat. How do you know? Because they're there. They can afford the car you're selling or the truck you're selling. How do you know? Because they're there. And we have to change the paradigm in the industry from these 20% closing ratios to look for a much higher expect. In fact, we need to look for a closing ratio that's north of 80%. Google data shows us there's a direct correlation between search and purchase, and it's nearly 1-to-1. I think it's 0.9 to 1.
That's right.
So 90% of the people that walk into your store have already decided they're going to buy a car before they get there. Unfortunately, sometimes the click doesn't match the brick, and when they come into the dealership, that experience isn't as smooth as it should be.
That's right. Thank you for illustrating how the fundamental truths have worked for your business. Now we're going to move into 3 new trends that we're continuing to see emerge in the research that are going to continue to underpin Guidebook 2.0 and our partnerships together. So the first one is that newer is not always better in this new world. And what we're actually finding is over half of people that have bought a new car from your dealerships are now considering a used or a CPO vehicle as well.
It's a huge number.
It's a huge number, and it's up from just a few years ago, and that is really being driven by the price of new vehicles. So they're more open to consideration than they were in the past. The second trend is I am on the phone. Now, I know you're thinking this is not necessarily a new trend. We've had phones for a long time. But the truth of the matter is that 69% of your buyers are only going to interact with you through their mobile device. Only through their mobile device. So we want you to think mobile first. And then search is still number 1, and search is used throughout that purchase journey. So from the first point of research all the way up to 3 days before they walked into your showroom, they're using search along with their other touch points within the digital space.
In fact, search is where they find you first. And so many of us, if you don't have the proper AdWords placed in the dealership, it's as if your dealership doesn't exist. So, many of us also, for years, we've shied away from buying the AdWords or the markets closest to the dealership, saying, hey, they know we're there. We've been there for 50 years. And in fact, if a customer's doing research for a car, they might go to the dealership that's 5 miles away from you, not even knowing you're there, because online you don't exist.
That's right.
Now, for us, we understand a couple of the truths, and one of the truths, we wanted to make it easy for people to do business with the dealership. So when we're developing a website, and the new website, many times we're looking at a screen like this in our office, and we're designing the site, we're trying to put everything we've got in the dealership, our family history, photos of our kids, everything we've got on that site. When you're telling me that mobile first is where it's at, you've got to design that website for this real estate. This is the real estate. This is the size of your dealership. And if you try and cram too many things there, they can't get you. From our perspective, there's 3 profit centers in the dealership. Many sub-profit centers, but there's 3. New cars, used cars, and service and parts. So we've got to make it easy with your left thumb to be able to click new cars, click used cars, click service. And the really cool thing about this site that we've developed now that's live for 2 days is that this site now, for the first time ever, pulls the data out of your DMS. So when a customer that's done business with you before, very much like Amazon, you show up on the site, it says, hey, Julian, welcome back. Good to see you. And again, most of the sites don't do this. In fact, most of the providers that provide websites have disparate objectives. You have a DMS that has pizza boxes sitting on top of the DMS, and each of these providers, they don't play nice together. We decided to leverage the DMS, put our website right on the DMS to access the incredible data that's inside, which I think speaks to another series of truths from Google.
That's
know
right.
me better, serve me faster, wow me everywhere.
Right.
Again, winning online, which is important. If your site takes more than 3 seconds to load, more than 3 seconds, 50% of your ad budget goes out the door. If it takes more than 3 seconds, the customers click and they go to your competitor. The other thing is if it's too cluttered, they click and they go to your competitor.
Right.
Everybody drives a used car. You said used car sales are going to be up. And this sign was on Northern Boulevard in Queens. I drove past it and it said, everybody drives a used car. I go, that's not true. I drive a new car with 4,000 miles on it. Everybody does drive a used car. And we've seen the acceptance of used cars being capitalized by the major aggregators that are out there. Some of these guys really understand the search business. They really understand the used car business. And they understand also that there are a lot more used car sales than new car sales. And I think it's really important, especially what's coming up, right? The SAR was 17.3 in 2018, 17.2. Last year, they say it was 17 million. Who here believes the SAR was actually 17 million? You got a ton of fleet baked into that, and the highest incentives we've ever had. This patient's been on life support, being pumped with steroids to keep it going. This year, they're actually projecting or forecasting it's going to drop to 16.6. Not the end of the world, but it's time to really start looking at, hey, this feels recessionary. Even though it's not, we pull back a little bit, and it's uncomfortable. The good news is that used car sales are projected to be up 2% this year. So I think it's important for us to realize let's be in that right place at the right time, serving the right customer.
And let's talk about the fixed stops and the service opportunity.
Well, we were really fortunate seeing a little bit of this coming that we went to fixed ops about 3 years ago. Imagine that. We have a $500 billion industry, and as dealers, we're only capturing 20% of that. Why is that? Well, when we looked, and again, you're saying, Lizette, that search is king. Take a look at the search data. We put oil change near me into Google in our market. And you know what came up? That's your cue.
I got it.
Oh, I skipped a step. Okay, let's go back. No, this is Mackenzie. Mackenzie said, here's where what the future looks like for us. The future looks like over the next 10 years, there's going to be less reliance on contribution to the bottom line from the finance department, less contribution to the bottom line from the used car department. There is no contribution to the bottom line for most of us in the new car department, but service and fixed ops is where it's at. When we searched for service oil change near me in our market, not a single automobile dealer came up. The query was oil change near me. Now, people don't search Paragon oil change, Honda oil change. It's not how they search. They search oil change near me. And all the major independents were there. Who wasn't there? The dealer. And our dealership wasn't there. In fact, our dealership has a 30% market share. So if we had those key search terms, 1 out of 3 of those would hit home. And the really great thing is, nobody else, no other dealers are there. And we have an expression, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun the nearest dealer. And if we outrun the nearest dealer, or in other words, if we're here, we'll outrun the competition. This is Paragon's data, specific to use on a cell phone. We are not at 60% cell phone usage. We're over 80% of our customers are accessing our dealership through the mobile device. So when we were designing our website, we wanted to make sure that that worked out well for us. I think click again. Now we took.
Hey Google, talk to Paragon Honda.
Busy is an understatement. Life in the city is hectic. Your time is precious. We get it. Say hello to Paragon Honda and never visit a dealer or service center again. Need your car serviced? Visit ParagonHonda.com and schedule your pickup location and time. We'll service it overnight and return it next day. It's quick, it's easy. It's Paragon Honda.
Guys, I'm not selling anything. There's nothing you can buy from me besides a Honda or an Acura. I think as an industry, we have to address the changes that are going on outside of the industry. When you look at Starbucks, my friend Andrew this morning went to Starbucks. He ordered his coffee in advance. He walked in, grabbed the coffee, and walked out. You look at Domino's Pizza. Have any of us here ever been to Domino's? I've never been to Domino's. There's no reason to go to Domino's. They bring the pizza directly to you forever. So when we were designing our program to go after the independent service business, we decided, why make them come to us? Why not have us go to them? This is our market in Queens. This is Paragon Honda sits somewhere right about here. And when we decided to do pickup and delivery, to see how we can serve our market better, I want you to see this heat map. Pay particular attention to the green dots. Those represent pickup and delivery customers that repeat purchasing from the dealership. The yellow dots, initially we started to go after Manhattan customers because the Honda dealership in Manhattan closed, the Acura dealership in Manhattan closed. So that was the first place we were going. This is from the end of 2017 to today. To quantify this, in August of 2017, we did 900 pickup and deliveries for service. 1 year later, that number was 1,900 pickup and deliveries. Last year in August, that number was 3,200 pickup and deliveries. And more importantly, look at the market penetration. We're not taking this business from other Honda dealers. No. We're taking that business from the independents. We're taking back what's ours. But the really cool part, take a look at this. Now, if you're not familiar with New York, you see this little island here? Look at this. We did pickup and delivery on this little island. Do you know what that island is? That's Rikers Island. It's a prison. We had a customer who's in jail, and he knows, hey, listen, I'm getting out in a week or two. I need my car's been sitting. Let me get an oil change. That's pretty cool. And the other area you see over here we didn't penetrate, and that's because that's a graveyard. And you know, although many of these people vote, they do not service their cars. Kidding. I didn't mention a party.
So thank you for showing how you've married what's happening online with how you are taking that offline and then bringing it back to help profitability for your dealership across all three of your profit centers. And so what we're going to move into now is that the truth that underpins all of these three truths and these three trends that we're going to use moving forward is one solution, which is automation. And because technology has rapidly developed and continues an increased trajectory, coupled with all of this behavior happening online, we can now automate our online business to drive profitability. And so what that allows you to do is focus on your business objectives, tell us as Google what those are, and then we will use the power of our machine learning to deliver on those objectives for you. And we're going to get into in a moment a tool that you're going to be able to actually walk away with today in order to make sure that we are doing that.
I just coined a term. I'm calling it AI for everybody.
I like it.
And it's the best way that we're going to be able to compete with the major guys out there. I want to compete with Elon Musk. How do I do it? I don't have the cash, and I'm not as smart. But we can use the same tools they're leveraging to do very specific and huge business.
That's right. And as you see here, the trend, because of what's happening, and Elon can capitalize off of that, is because of AI and machine learning for everyone.
That's exactly it.
Now, we use automation and machine learning at Google for all of the products that you know and use every day. So think about when you're searching through your Google Photos and you're looking for your most recent vacation to California, and you want to show that to your friend. And so all you do is search that in, or actually even voice search it, and Google Photos will pull that up for you automatically. It makes your life easier, it's seamless, it's a really great experience. And so that happens throughout all of our products. And to Brian's point, when we're in an AI and machine learning environment for everyone, that now translates into advertising as well.
We are up against the best customer experiences in the history of the planet. How do we compete and how do we compare? I wish the OEMs, instead of surveying us, we run about 94, 95% customer satisfaction. I wish they would ask a different question. How did your experience at Paragon compare with your last purchase on Amazon? How did that compare? And what would our scores be? Would our scores be in the 90% or would it drop down to 40 or 50%? The experience for the customer hasn't changed, but our perspective would have changed and would cause us, I think, to act and behave even better than we do now.
So what you're going to do now is serve the right ad to the right customer at the right time through automation, and you don't have to do that manually anymore.
This is what Paragon's doing, and let's take a look. So we need an oil change, and when we click we need an oil change, AI is going to determine which video assets to put up in front of you, which lower funnel asset to put up in front of you when it comes to an oil change, and then you can click on that, and it'll take you right to the dealership, or even better, give you the option, you coming to us or we going to you. And it's amazing, 80% of the customers, when given a choice, say, hey, come to me. And any of us in the business, when's the last time any of us have waited 4 hours in a service department for an oil change? The answer is never, but we expect our customers to do it. When it comes to, I want a new car lease, that's a lower funnel lead. We have to make sure when they want that they click, they're able to get to the dealership with their thumb in one click, right into the website. And the same thing is true for used car CRV near me. Now, the used car, the differentiator for us right now is we're using products that enable video to show a video of the used car, a VIN-specific video of the used car, serve it right up to the customer. They see the car, not just pictures, that won't cut it anymore, pictures and a video of the vehicle that they're looking at. And it's served up by AI that updates 44,000 times a day. How does our sales manager compete with a dealer that's updating their ads and their AdWords strategy 44,000 times a day?
And I promised you that we would talk more about profitability, and the metric that we want to talk about now is store visits. So when Google talks about store visits, what we're talking about is how many people have clicked on your search ad and then walked into your dealership 30 days later or anytime within that 30-day window. And we can do that because of the machine learning and the AI and the logged-in user behavior that people have opted into within the Google environment. And what this means is that if you run 100 search ads, you can expect on average across your 3 profit centers here that 10 of those will walk into your showroom within a 30-day period.
You're making clicks tangible.
That's right.
So it's now clicks to store visits. It's a 10% ratio. So the more clicks you get, the more store visits you get. Now we should be searching for clicks.
And on average, we're paying about $30 to bring that person into the showroom. And that's, again, is industry average of what we've seen across all 3 profit centers.
Your mileage may vary.
That's right. So take a look at yours and see how that does vary to what we see here.
This year, for Paragon, the numbers changed. Remember, we focused a little bit more on video. We sold 11,000 cars retail instead of the 10,500. In addition to that, we figured it took about 50,000 store visits to do that. What was really amazing for us is that we had 32,000 store visits, up 16,000 from the prior year. And there's more news and there's better news. The actual cost per store visit went from from transaction went from $175 a sale down to $134 a sale, compared with an industry average of about $550. We're searching and we're hunting with a laser beam, and it's becoming much more dialed in. Now, I don't know that there's much room there to get below the $134 a sale, but at $134 cost of a sale, that's a good way for us to maintain some nice, healthy margins for the store. Double click.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here is the profitability calculator that I promise you will leave here with today. And so what we've done is we put forth a formula that allows you to look at your store visits, the profit you're bringing in for each store visit, each person that's walking into your dealership, subtract that from your marketing investment, and then understand your dealer profitability. And at the end here, we have a link and a QR code that you can download the Dealer Guidebook 2.0. You can download this profitability calculator, and you can understand how these numbers work for your dealership. And so for the sake of time, I'm just going to build out these quick slides. But what we see in this example is there's 3,300 store visits at an average of $510 per visit. We spent $100,000 on advertising, and that delivered $1.6 million in profit, or $16 in return for every dollar spent with Google.
In short, Google's found a way to give you direct attribution for dollar spent to dollar in profit,
That's
which
right.
we're using extensively now in the dealership.
And you can do this with your store visits data. So you will walk away with this tool that you marry your Google data with your in-house sales data to understand your profitability. And then you can also use the same formula if you're looking at other metrics like phone calls, VDPs, and lead forms. So this will work as long as you're looking at the actions that matter for your business. So for every dollar that you spend on Google Ads, you're going to know that I made X in return. And this will vary for everybody here. So with Google Dealer Guidebook 2.0, we've set up the strategy so that we can meet you where you are in
How
your
much
needs.
is Google Guidebook 2.0?
It's free, Brian.
Where do you get it?
You get it on Think with Google, and I'm going to send you guys all the link in a moment.
Great.
And so if you have not downloaded and used Google Dealer Guidebook 1.0, please start there. That is your foundation, and we're building from there. Now we will talk to you about what can you do in your market to maintain your fair share, to maintain status quo in your market if you're fine with where you are, all the way up to driving into a market leader position if you want to own every search for every brand in your particular market. You will know that now, and you will understand how to activate Google to get there.
We asked for, they have 3 ways of doing it: maintain your market, grow your market, or take the largest share of the market you can. And I said to Google, I want to dominate the market. I want every lead that's in the market. And they said, no problem. It'll cost you $936,000 a month. I said, well, I don't want all the leads. I want the closest ones. And I had to back off of that budget. But the really crazy great news is there was that much interest in our product, in our market available. Imagine this, your sales manager on a slow Saturday saying, gosh, I wish traffic was there. And he could actually go into his computer and buy store visits using the product called the DOE, Dealer Opportunity Explorer, to bring customers directly to the dealership. The dealer can't access the DOE directly. I think you have to go through a dealer advertising partner. But there's a huge, well, what did you do? You put the math in.
I put your math in, so what your dealer profit would be.
You said if I spend $900,000, I get $6.7 million.
That's right.
That's a little bit of a leap of faith. I'm not there yet, but we're working on it.
But there's the opportunity.
No question about it.
So automate to drive profit. That means that your advertising dollars now work harder for you. Google will help you sell more cars and make more money. And this is now available as of today on our Think with Google website. You can screenshot this QR code or download via the link, or you can go to Google and search Dealer Guidebook and get both versions moving forward. So thank you very much for your time.
Lizette, and thank you, and thank Google.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Lizette and Brian, ladies and gentlemen, keep your hands going. Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Guys, this is one of those times when, like, literally,